Hi, and welcome back to Monetizely's YouTube channel. My name is Ajit Ghuman, CEO of Monetizely, author of the book Price to Scale. This series is called Backstage Pricing. In every video, I will be breaking down the hottest SaaS, AI, and Agentic firms. I'm going to be looking at the pricing page and explaining how we think about their pricing and what that tells me about the company. So let's take a look backstage. In this video, we are going to talk about InVideo.io's pricing. So just like Runway ML, just like some other AI video generation products that we have discussed in terms of pricing, today I'm going to talk about InVideo AI, and we're going to cover some of the aspects of their pricing strategy as seen from their pricing page. Now, to recap, what are the components of a pricing strategy? The first is your tier structure, right? The tier structure is reflective of your customer segmentation, and the tiers are created to best fulfill the needs of every customer segment while not necessarily competing with each other, and created in a way that you maximize the revenue from the market. That's number one. Number two is the pricing metric selection. Is it the right pricing metric? Is it how customers will view your solution? And number three is the price point itself. So for InVideo.ai, let us review their tiers. They have Plus, Max, Generative, and Team. Plus starts at $28 per month, Max is at $50, Generative is at $100, and Team is at almost $900. What I'm already immediately liking is, just like 11 Labs, InVideo.io has created a team package at a much higher price point, where they have a couple of entry-level offerings, and then they have this generative plan. And you will notice that products such as Runway ML, they have this $100 plan, or maybe a little bit higher, but they don't have this really high dollar plan, which limits for those companies the access to the enterprise tier, which is certainly not the case for InVideo. They have intelligently understood that the enterprises will want to have a plan that they purchase here. Now, while I say enterprise, like they call it team, they have a separate enterprise tier below, which is custom pricing. This is similar to 11 Labs. I like it. While they say teams, there are going to be enterprises that start with team, and then they're going to have this custom conversation and have a custom offering that they buy. So I like that. The second thing I like is they don't overfill this page. They have a free option. It is here, and they provide 10 video minutes, and we'll talk about what video minutes are, but they provide editing of 10 video minutes down below. But really the focus is on Plus, Max, and Generative as something to start, and they talk about Generative being the best value. And now we'll talk about whether it is the best value or not. So their plans seem to be well targeted across customer segments. Now, something that is problematic on almost all generative AI products is that the plans are not necessarily about capabilities, but the plans are simply about how much stuff you can generate. So this is a video production platform that allows you to create generative video, but you can also create a clone of your product. You can create product asset ads. You can take stock footage, mix and match to create other videos. This is what they do. This is what they're fairly good at, and they're different from others in that respect. However, they just use the number and quantity of stuff to be able to differentiate between plans, just like almost all generative AI products. But if you think about regular SaaS products, enterprise features are generally going to be different. Even if you think about individual team and enterprise features for a company like Figma, enterprises will get more workflow capabilities, more collaboration capabilities, more capabilities to have enterprise-wide design systems. That is not necessarily something that they have figured out yet. But bigger companies like Figma have figured it out. I think it behooves generative companies, if they're really going to become that much of a mainstay inside an organization, to build those workflow capabilities, because sooner or later the generative portions of these capabilities are going to be competitively commoditized, and then what will remain at the end of the day is a product that people like to use and the product that fits in their workflows. And that is something I see almost nobody figuring out yet. That was a general comment on segmentation and a more specific comment of InVideo AI segmentation. Okay. So the second thing is we're going to now look at the pricing metric. Their pricing metric is credit. All right. They say you get so much per credit, and you can even buy more add-ons, more credits on top, right? You can buy 100 credits. What I like is that you can buy more credits. What I find hard is that I do not know what credits mean. See, I have to infer that, okay, 10 credits means 30 seconds of video. Then I literally took out my calculator and said, okay, 40 credits means 120, it scales. And 1,000 credits means 50 minutes of generative video. So this is generative video is really where the credits are really being used. On all other places, that is more of something they can easily provide. Generative videos where they are going to spend most of their money, and it's the more margin limiting thing. So you will probably see that there is a credit to generative AI conversion ratio that they're trying to maintain. But the fact that it is not clear here is problematic. So the second part is they have another product which you're not even covering right now. What if I have cancel my subscription? What should I do if I run out of quotas? Will my export generation AI stock credits roll over? So now we actually basically have to go to their help page somewhere. Let's go to, let's say, the chat, right? And ask credits. Okay, InVideo AI. All right. So unfortunately, there is no fact that I can even find on this page. Search for help. Let's see, credits. How to apply your InVideo AI credits? How are credits calculated? How does the credit system work on InVideo? Credits are InVideo's internal currency. They're used each time you create or edit a video. The number of credits depend how long your video is, what kind of content you produce. Here is a breakdown. A 10-second video duration without AI actors, a 30-second video is 10 credits, right? This is what they're referring to here. The 30 seconds generative product. And then there are videos with AI actors, creating videos using stock media ads, using human or virtual actors. So unfortunately, it is not very clear. Most of the times their credit conversion is provided for the generative media, and then they further provide that information with AI actors or without AI actors. So it's not very clear how credits apply to the other aspects. And while many people are getting used to buying per credit, you really on the pricing page need to explain to people what on earth is a credit, because the only way I would now figure it out is I would create a free account, try to use it, and then try to figure out what credits are. Or I'm just looking at, okay, I get so many credits, but this is what that means. I get 30 seconds of video, I get 120, and I'm going to spend it using that. But what is still unclear is, if I spend 10 seconds of the generative, let's say I made 30 seconds, do I still get 50 video minutes, or do my credits exhaust and I cannot generate any of these 50? So are these and or? Very basic question. Anybody's going to have this question. So unfortunately, not a very good job done there. The pricing metric is unclear. I cannot predict anything. I don't even know how I'm going to be using it. I was going to give them credit that they actually allow you to buy overage credits, right? You can either buy 10 credits or you can buy one boost, which is so many video minutes, which sounds like the same thing with just different words. So I think they understand that people don't understand what credits are, right? But they have not solved this in their pricing page, and which is unfortunate. Other companies are not even allowing you to buy overage, which is again problematic because they are shooting themselves in the foot, because if there are customers that like them and they run out of their quota, they're really creating sales cycles where they don't need to create sales cycles. And again, I'll give credit to 11 Labs that they are doing a good job with this. And finally, we're going to discuss price point. Now, price point is really going to be a factor of how much it costs for them to produce this, which we don't know. So we're assuming they're going to, the way it is structured is they're not going to be margin negative because they're going to charge based on how much they produce. So it's not a per user pricing, which is fine. But it's not clear how this compares to other products, right? Like this $28 per month, 30 seconds, 120 seconds for 50. We would actually have to look at what the other products are doing and the quality. So it's not really apples and apples. Even if we were to compare price points, the quality of their product and InVideo's product would be different. But I like the spread of pricing. I like that it goes from roughly $30 to $900. I could envision it going up a little bit higher before you actually go to custom pricing, and I could envision them starting lower. But as a pricing person, I don't mind it too much that they start at $28 per month. That ensures that they don't get frivolous buyers who are buyers. And perhaps it is a good thing that they're trying to create a proper conversion jump between free and plus, so that they can focus on delivering good value. What's been happening more recently is that generative AI products, and especially on the code generation side, provide these $10 plans, and some other products also provide very cheap plans. And the problem with very cheap plans is the frivolous nature of the customers in free gets added to your paying customer list, and they create a lot of revenue risk, brand risk for you if you then change the pricing for them. So it's always best to provide more value for a higher price than provide a cheap price and then play around with the pricing, because then even though they are paying less, they are still paying customers will start to get hurt. And more recently, we've seen that with Cursor. That cannot be good for the company. Okay, so overall, I think segmentation wise, they're doing a good job. Pricing metric wise, everybody's using credits, but they do not offer a very ready credit conversion table, which is not good at all. It's not clear what a credit is. You really have to spend a lot of time on the pricing page to figure that out. And price points, I think they're probably doing a good job. I think they can probably charge more. In order for them to improve pricing, they should fix their pricing metric. They should fix the communication of the pricing metrics and the conversion, so that it becomes easy for customers to buy them. So that was this episode of Backstage Pricing on InVideo. Thank you.